Hinton Jr. is accused of killing Deputy Larry Henderson one day after his son was killed by a police officer.
This happened just hours after CPD showed Hinton and other family members video of that deadly shooting.
Woo, woo, woo! Trigger alert, trigger alert. Yes, this is going to trigger some of y'all. But if you are not ready for what we are about to speak on, then you might want to leave or plug your ears. But we have to hit this subject. And you do not come here because I tell you what it is you want to hear. No. You do not come here because we regurgitate everything we hear from other people to you. No. You do not come here because I do not speak the truth, and especially when we can look things up and do our fact checks so that we know that we are speaking the truth and not just speaking on emotions or feelings. Because some of y'all are about to get your feelings hurt when it comes to this subject, and I get it. You have to understand that I've dealt with something similar myself, but it was not a police officer and civilian case. No, it was civilians involved in the deletion of my brother. So I've dealt with this before. And I have to tell you that when it happens, something comes over you. It does. Something comes over you. But at the same time, well, we're not even going to get into that yet. Before we continue, though, I need y'all to do 3 things for me. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and share this video so someone else can do the very same thing. And if they don't, then we're going to send Ryan Hinton after them. Now, Ryan was a young man who was deleted by an officer. Yes, you heard me correctly. He was a black young man that was deleted. See, of course I have to add the race in there because when I said he was a young man, everyone just said, oh, okay. But I guarantee you, once I said he was a black young man who was deleted by an officer, that's when the outroar occurs. That's when everyone is outraged, right? Everyone's outraged all of a sudden. That is what's happening right now with this case. That's what's happening right now with this case. See, people fail to understand that deletions have been happening for as long as we've existed. They have been happening for that long. The only difference now, right, especially with police deletions, is that we have the internet. We have iPhones. We can see it in real time as it happens. Yes, literally. Police officers have body cameras. We can see it happen in real time. That's the only difference. And so, whenever you hear about police incidences where someone is deleted, guess what? It's nothing new. It's been happening. We just never heard about it that much. Not to mention, when they were putting it in the newspaper, it would be a small column this big and no one would pay any attention anyway. And who actually read the papers? Not many people. Not many people read the papers, especially if you were young. And so now that we have these phones glued to our faces, guess what? You get to see the news in real time. So the outrage seems to happen every time we hear something like this. An officer, and I don't even know if it, well, yes, you can say it makes a big difference, the race of the officer. Let's be real. Because the race baiters out there, that's what they love to hear. That's what they want to hear. See, they don't get outraged over anything else. Nothing else. There was a 7-year-old boy who was deleted by about 5 other black young men. A 7-year-old black young boy got deleted by 5 black young men, and there was no uproar about that. No one was mad about that. You didn't see anybody picketing outside of the jail. You didn't see anybody getting online, even speaking on it. They were quiet. Everyone was on hush mouth. But now that this young man has been deleted, and let's be real, it's a tragedy. His deletion was a tragedy. It was a major tragedy. We can never say that, oh, that was a good thing that happened. No, because it could have been avoided. But here's the kicker. He was sitting in a stolen car, right, with 3 other young men. One of them had a firearm, which was loaded. You want me to keep going? It gets worse, right? Think about how worse it gets. It would have been different if they were sitting in a stolen car, right? Not saying that it was right. It would have been different and no one had a firearm and they took off, because that's exactly what they did. Once the officers approached the vehicle, they all took off. They ran. So now, what are the officers going to do? They're going to give chase. But when you have a firearm and you brandish the firearm, the officer, for one, does not know if it's loaded or not. Put yourself in the shoes of an officer. I want y'all to do that right now. The officer does not know. He doesn't know if the firearm is loaded or not. No clue. 2, he might have a family. You have a family at home that you're trying to get to. And so, you're already on edge. You have to think about that. Every morning you wake up and put that uniform on and throw that badge on your chest. Guess what? You are afraid for your life. I don't care what anybody says. Because in order for you to make it home, you have to be afraid. You have to have some kind of level of fear. And so these officers walk around with a certain level of fear. Now you are brandishing a firearm at them. What do you think he's going to think? Automatically think. Your adrenaline is pumping. You are actually running. He was running after the young man. Your adrenaline is pumping. Guess what's going to happen? Guess what's going to happen? You're not going to actually think rationally. You just don't. When your adrenaline is pumping like that, you just don't. You're not clear-headed. And that's not saying that the officer was not completely clear-headed. That's not to say that. I don't know. I wasn't there. But at the same time, again, put yourself in the shoes of that officer. And so when that young man brandishes the gun, what's going through your mind right now? Put yourself in this scenario, and you are chasing a young man, right? It doesn't matter what color he is. He has a gun. What's going through your mind? You want to make it home to your family, right? And you have to be very cautious. And that's exactly what the officer did. Not to mention, while those young men were running, the officers heard the gun drop to the floor. They heard it scrape against the ground. Yes, I know the sound. Again, as y'all know, I like to exercise my 2A rights, and I believe everyone else should be able to, especially law-abiding citizens. Law-abiding citizens. So I know what a gun sounds like when it scrapes against the floor, when it drops. And so that's what happened, and the officers heard it. Now again, what's going through your mind? Think about it. What's going through your mind right now? When you hear that gun fall to the ground, and then you see a young man pick it up and start running. Again, what's going through your mind? You start giving chase to that young man. Your firearm is out. What's going through your mind? Your adrenaline is pumping. You don't know what's happening. That young man turns around, and you don't even know if he's going to point the gun at you. You don't even know this. You don't know if he's going to point the firearm at you. What's going through your mind? Knowing that you have a family to make it home to. See, those young men put themselves in a bad situation. That's exactly what happened. And too often this happens to who? To who? Who are we seeing this happen to? Young black men, right? Way too often. The story that I just told y'all about earlier with the 7-year-old young boy. He was a black young kid. The 5 men involved, they were 5 black men. Again, we are putting ourselves in these situations. We cannot blame anyone. To all you race hustlers out there, you cannot blame anyone for this. You cannot blame anyone for what happened to that young man. You cannot blame anyone except for that young man. Not his circumstances, not his environment. I'm sorry. We have choices and decisions to make, and you have to make the best. Because when we make these bad decisions, this is what happens, and it could have been avoided. And now, we are about to watch the video where they are describing exactly what happened to this young man, because we are about to get to the second part of this story right after this.
And many of you have commented online saying the release of body cam footage in just 24 hours seems rushed, especially for a grieving family. WCPO 9 News reporter Andrew Rowan explains why that timeline is standard protocol for Cincinnati police.
As the chief for the city of Cincinnati and this police department, my commitment is to transparency.
Police Chief 𝐒𝐶𝐬 telling the Buzz radio host Lincoln Ware about the moments she reviewed body camera footage with the Hinton family.
I think like any family member, they were all distraught over what they just saw.
Did he get up abruptly and just walk out of the room, or did he?
He did leave the room, yes.
All of a sudden, he left the room.
Yeah,
Okay.
he walked out.
Whenever there is a police shooting, body camera footage is released 24 hours after that shooting. A police lieutenant tells me that is standard protocol put into place by Police Chief 𝐒𝐶𝐬 herself.
I have nothing to hide. I will share whatever I can share throughout
Even if
this
it's not
process.
favorable for the police, you will share.
Yeah, I will always share what factual
Yes.
information I have.
Now here's where things take a turn for the worse. Ryan Hinton's father, Rodney Hinton Jr., does what? What do you think he does? See, I understand what it is to go through that pain. I get it. I understand exactly what it is, right? I went through it. You have 1,000 things running through your mind, and one of them, I believe the main one, is anger. You are angry. You are mad. You're also scared too. Yes, fear runs through your mind as well. You have to think about this. We all have all of these emotions within us. Yes, those emotions don't go anywhere. What do you think? You just wear it like a suit, you throw it on and then you can take it off? No. All these emotions are inside of all of us. They're within us. And so it depends on which ones you let or allow to govern you. Which ones inside of you are stronger than the other. That's all it is. And so when you go through this moment of anger, which is exactly what Ryan's father went through. Yes, that's exactly what he went through. He went through some anger, and I will admit that. But he also did the unthinkable. Rodney Hinton then proceeds to drive to a campus, sees the first officer, and mows him down. Yes, that's exactly what he did. Don't take my word for it. Let's go to the video.
Breaking news, the man charged with murdering Hamilton County Sheriff's Deputy Larry Henderson has been denied bail. Thank you for joining us at noon. I'm Megan Mitchell.
And I'm Stephen Albritton. This morning's bond hearing for Rodney Hinton Jr. showed a lot of emotion during and after the court proceedings. We're leading the way with live team coverage. Ryan Hinton breaks down what happened in court. Our Giacomo Luca joins us with how emotions ran high during that hearing, and our Todd Dykes has reaction from the sheriff after the hearing. Let's start with Brian Hamrick with that judge's decision. Brian.
Yeah, Stephen, what was an emotional tornado inside the Justice Center here. You have deputies who just lost a friend, a co-worker in the same room with the family of the man who is accused of killing him. Now, just a matter of seconds after Rodney Hinton Jr. entered the courtroom, an outburst. A man came to the front claiming he was Hinton's brother, trying to get his attention. This is what happened.
Have a seat. Have a seat. Have a seat, sir. Sit down.
Yeah, now the outburst goes on. Hinton is escorted out of the courtroom. They finally get things under control, and Hinton returns to the court for this hearing to hold him on no bond. It's a special hearing. It requires evidence to be presented. The prosecution called a Cincinnati police detective who said Hinton had been at the police station to meet with the chief and to see body cam of police from the day before. That body cam showed officers shooting Hinton's son, Ryan Hinton, to death. And it came as they stopped the stolen car after leaving that scene and seeing this video, the detective said Hinton was very emotional. Family didn't even want him to drive home. He didn't, but he came back later to get his car, and then he headed to the area of the UC campus where Deputy Larry Henderson was directing traffic for the UC graduation. The detective said Hinton picked out the first officer he saw and accelerated toward him.
Now, y'all have to understand something, right? Those deputies are also what? Angry. Those deputies are also angry. Wouldn't you be? Think about that. Would you not be angry if someone mowed down, if someone mowed and deleted, they mowed down someone you considered a brother? Would you not be angry? Of course you would be. So those officers are angry. But here's the thing. Rodney Hinton walks in there with his head up high, as if he did a good thing. Very cocky. Down to the smirk on his face. And then and I know y'all saw when he turned around, I guess his friends, his family members in the background, waving. That's despicable. I don't care. That's despicable. I would not wave. I don't care who that person is to me. It could be your cousin. I would not wave. You did something wrong. And when I say wrong, I'm talking about you did something where someone else cannot ever return from. It's despicable. And then his brother gets up to do what? Draw some attention? Because that's all he did, was draw some attention. That's my brother. That's my brother. Okay, we don't care. He did something wrong, and he's going to have to pay for it. Now, of course, as y'all can tell, his lawyer is going to claim what? Reason of insanity. His lawyer is going to claim that he broke down. He had a mental breakdown. Yeah, he had a mental breakdown. Now, here's where I don't believe any of that shit. First of all, if I have a mental breakdown, it's going to be at that very moment in that same place. Yeah, while I viewed the video, while I viewed the body cam video of the officer in pursuit of my son and deleting my son, guess what? I would snap right then and there in that police station. I would snap right then and there. Now, for someone to rationally walk to their car, what? You had a mental breakdown and said, let me take a drive? No. For him to get in his vehicle and then drive, right? Just drive until he sees the first officer and then decides to mow him down. What does that tell you? That tells you that he thought about it first. That's exactly what he did. He thought about it first. Now, he did it in a way where he couldn't be deleted. You dig? He did it in a way where he couldn't be deleted. That's why he didn't do it in the police precinct. He's not stupid. See, if he was insane, if he really went insane, right? He would have done it right there in the precinct. He would have done something to an officer in the precinct. But he knew that he risked a chance of being deleted. Think about that. You're in a police precinct and you delete an officer, you already know what's going to happen to you. Flatline. There ain't no coming back for you. But instead of doing that, right, he thinks about it first and then he leaves. He walks outside, gets in his car and drives. Finds the first officer and mows him down. Now, that officer was an innocent person. That officer did nothing to him. As I have stated before, we all have skeletons in our closets. Do I know that officer personally? No, I don't. You don't know him either. So we don't know. We don't know what kind of skeletons might have been in that officer's closet. We don't know. But all I do know is that he was not involved in that incident. And so, for Rodney Hinton to do what he did, guess what? That's despicable. It's despicable. He just deleted an innocent human being. Does that bring his son back? No, it never will. Not to mention, he just lost his life. Not to mention, he just lost his life. Trust and believe, he's not going to get any type of plea deals. No, they're going to throw the book at him. Watch what I tell y'all. We're going to follow this trial because I want to see what happens at the end. I want to see the end results to this man, Rodney Hinton, mowing down an innocent officer who did nothing to him. And again, that officer might have had a family at home. I don't know if he does or not, but that officer's not going to make it home to his family. Why? Why you tell me? Because there was a series of events that started out with a stolen vehicle. Think about that. This is why I tell y'all we have to make the right and we have to make smart decisions. Watch your choices. The choices you have in front of you, make sure that you choose the right ones. Because just one wrong choice, right, can start a ball of disaster. Yes, and that ball will roll downhill and get bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's exactly what happened. The series of events that occurred on the night that those young men stole that vehicle led to all of this. Ryan Hinton caused his father to lose his life because that's exactly what's going to happen. And Rodney Hinton didn't think about it before he acted. And no, don't try to say, oh, well, then that's a reason of insanity. No, it's not. When I say he did not think before he reacted, I'm talking about he probably didn't think about the consequences. He just wanted to mow an officer down. That's exactly what he wanted to do. He wanted revenge for his son. He wanted revenge for his son. And do you know what revenge gets you? You want to know what revenge gets you? Yeah, nowhere. That's where revenge gets you. His son will never come back, ever. I'm pretty sure he doesn't feel good about himself. Right now, he's in the courtroom smirking, but I guarantee you when he's sitting inside of that cell alone by himself, you want to know what he's going to be thinking about? Damn, I fucked up. Because that's exactly what Rodney Hinton did. And for all of y'all who are going to come out, and try to justify this and say that this man is a hero for deleting someone else, because I can already hear it. I can already see the comments. Oh, he did a great thing. They've been deleting us. That's all they do is delete us. He did a great thing. You really think so? Well, where's the outrage for that young boy who was deleted by those other black young men? Please tell me that. Where's the outrage for the 5-year-old that was in Chicago that got deleted? That got deleted with his mother in a vehicle months ago. Huh? There was no outcry then. There was no outrage then. But now y'all are outraged about what? A man deleting another innocent man for no reason, just because he thought that getting revenge would be the best thing. Leave a comment in the comment section if you don't agree with what I just said. If you do agree with it, then we see eye to eye and we are all about the truth. Because here, that's exactly what you're going to get. Ryan Hinton, rest in peace. To that officer, rest in peace. But Rodney Hinton did a despicable thing. And I hope and I know that he is going to get justice. Until next time.
If you like this video, like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more content.